Okay, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, welcome to the Squad Goals Podcast episode 54. 54. Hold the door. Devon's a whore. I'm AJ. And to my left, I have...
It's your boy D-Lo.
And
You
to
already
my,
know.
And to my right, we have...
A no-show.
Because Devon is in Las Vegas. And if that sounded really scripted, it's because this is attempt number 3 because the power keeps on going out. And we're going to keep it going the same.
You don't have to mention that. But we're an honest production and we tell it like it is.
Man, I'm feeling deja vu. Hey, could you take a guess on what I wanted to bring up? Let's see how well you know me. What would I bring up right now?
I'm gonna read your mind on this one. I think for some reason I'm seeing like Blu-Rays. You're gonna talk about Blu-Rays, and if people still collect Blu-Rays, a typical average consumer of goods, do they go out and buy Blu-Rays on the regular?
You're freaking me out because you just read my mind.
I know.
Yeah, I feel like, do people, like, I'll go to friends' houses and I'll see, like, maybe they have, like, 5 DVDs, maybe 10 at the most, and I'm like, does anyone really buy Blu-Rays? Like, I feel like it's becoming more of a novelty item. Some people don't even have Blu-ray players unless they have a PlayStation or an Xbox at this point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like everything's going digital. I don't feel like people are going to the store, like, going like, man, I gotta buy that on Blu-ray. Like, maybe the most people that aren't movie fans with, like, a movie collection might be tech junkies who have, like, a 4K TV and they're more about, like, getting their home theater system. So I think Blu-ray and 4K DVDs are the best format to watch movies. It's better than streaming. Even if it's 4K streaming, it looks so much better on a Blu-ray. I'm a little confused because we haven't gotten this far yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going off the cuff at this point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel like maybe they'll have a few Blu-rays, like, to really show off their theater.
Yeah.
But besides that, like, I feel like the average person isn't buying Blu-rays like that.
Yeah. I think the average consumer isn't necessarily buying Blu-rays like that, but I think there is a market for people because you always have your collectors that like to have physical medium.
Yeah.
Any kind of physical medium. And I mean, I'm one of those people just because like I have a personal attachment to certain films and to certain things that I like to collect, and I like to have a piece of it like shown because it's a part of me. However, yeah, I think the typical consumer doesn't necessarily care, but I know that there are a lot of people out there that still go and buy DVDs. They still buy physical
But I
media.
feel like that's more, like I was saying, movie fans. Like, I just feel like I'm generalizing the, like, people, making it sound like it's a small group, but, like, the average moviegoer is probably 95% of people in the world.
Well, I mean, everybody likes movies.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when I'm saying, like, the term average moviegoer, I'm like, the person that goes, oh, I didn't know there was a new, like, Harry Potter that's out. And, like, they're not watching the trailers. They're not
researching. And...
They don't, they're kind of just like, cool, I like that movie. Oh, they had another one come out? Cool, I didn't even know. And I'm like, or they're just not like, oh, did you hear the Christopher Nolan movie just dropped his cast in the title of the next movie, which is
really?
true. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like, for example, we're interested in that, but like if you went to someone off the street going, who's Christopher Nolan? Most people might not answer that question. If you went on the street and went, what does the director do? They would probably be like, I don't know, like Traffic.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I feel like that section of the world is a lot bigger than the people that are big movie fans.
Yeah.
And it's like, Blu-rays, you go to a Walmart, you go to a Best Buy, is a big section of like an electronics section.
Yeah.
Like DVDs and stuff. And it's like, CDs is really small. So
Yeah.
when is it going to get to the part where like movie studios or like home media, like the companies go like, it's not worth printing that many movies.
I think it's a little bit of a dying medium. However, I still think that there's always going to be a place for it.
I think so because I mean people still buy records.
Yeah, people still buy records, and it's kind of become like, like kind of hip to buy records. I mean, in the future where, I mean, for the most part, it's just digital. Whenever it just gets to like things are mostly digital, there's still going to be those people who want to get the physical.
Well, yeah, I think it'll turn into like a more hip thing. And honestly, I think I just came up with $1 million idea, but it's not relevant now.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 20 years. I want to make like, you know how like you have a record store and it's like set up how record stores used to be back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So it's like in the 80s, early 90s, 70s, like how the record stores lined up. You walk, it just looks identical. Like you would never know it's 2019, I almost said 15, if you walk into a record store. When DVDs kind of go out of trend, you make a DVD store, make it look like a Blockbuster, an old video store. Like have them lined up on the shelves just how it used to be. So you walk in and it's like that nostalgic, like, oh, this is the hip. Basically for hipsters going like, I buy my movies on Blu-ray. It's a better quality than just streaming.
I just don't know when that's going to happen or if it's ever going to happen. Well, because I think that for the most part, you're going to have... I mean, there's going to be, what I believe, less movies on the shelf. Yeah. But you're always going to have them on the shelf at Best Buy. You're always going to have them because, like I said, everyone likes movies and there's always a place for it. It's easy to just go and buy a movie that you really, really like. And I don't think, like, DVDs are going to go out at, like...
But anytime if you went back in the day and said that about records, kind of like maybe early iTunes era, you would be like saying the same thing. Like everyone's gonna buy CDs and stuff. Like, and then it just
for a while
digital
people did.
Became. I feel like in the grand scheme of things, we're still early in the streaming movies generation. Like it's what, like maybe 5 years old if you really think about it. Like 6.
There's a strong convenience to it. A convenience that is more convenient than any of the medias in the past. Like when people collected big records, they were big, like they were bulky. Yeah. So when they went to CDs, it was a lot more compact. It was more accessible. It was easier to just pull out a CD, keep it in your car or whatever. But now it's become, it doesn't even like exist. So it's already, you just go online, you just go into the interwebs and you pull out your movies.
Well,
So the convenience of it is like, which is crazy that like I'm still even collecting. Yeah, anyone's still collecting because I know the convenience of it. I just like to have the movies.
But like to think of like how early we are in streaming, right? When we first met, I don't think streaming movies was really like it was, but it was very primitive. Like for example, to kind of give a sense, when we first met, Netflix was not making original shows.
Yeah.
Like how to show like kind of how quick everything grew and like how long, like you think about it and you're like, oh, Netflix has always been in the game. And it's like, no, they started probably 2013. For sure, because Arrested Development, the new season when they brought it back was like the second show or third show they ever made.
Yeah.
And it was like House of Cards, Arrested Development, and one that really didn't take off. And then it was like, that was it. And then Orange is the New Black. They had like 4 shows. But then it was do. Yeah. And now there's a new show and movie every single week. But like that's what I'm saying. Like at that time, it was like not everyone had Netflix like that. It wasn't really until they started really dropping all their stuff. Like I feel like more people were getting Netflix for DVDs at that period of time. And it's like we're probably in the first 5 years of really streaming and stuff like that, and I feel like in another 5 or 10 it's going to be, for example, Disney putting all their movies on a Disney platform. So then what's the point of going, I need to buy a Lion King on Blu-ray, I pay my $7 a month, there it is. So I feel like it's just going to get more and more niche to collect movies, even though Blu-rays and 4K is the best format.
Well, I mean, that can change at like really, really soon because the way that these servers and
maybe when 5G comes out, it'll be a different story. But because even when you stream 4K on Netflix, they still have to compress it. And it just doesn't
compression is getting like less and less. So the quality of the movies are getting pretty close these days. But
but and then my other fear, because I'm knocking the thing I do, but like collecting Blu-rays, it bothers me because now 4K. I don't even know what they're called. 4K DVDs, 4K movies. But like there's a new format out, and it's like, okay, well now I'm gonna start collecting that, and then there's gonna be the 8K movies.
Yeah,
and it's
there's always gonna be a new format. So as a collector, you kind of have to just. It's the same way like you buy a phone, you buy a computer, knowing that technology is gonna advance and what you buy is gonna become obsolete.
like I have not anymore, but if you think about it, I have owned 4 different mediums of A New Hope. I've had that 4 different iterations. Yeah. Probably gonna go on 5 when I get I don't own a 4K TV yet. Yeah. But like I had it on Laserdisc. Wow. I had it on VHS.
You still have the Laserdisc?
It's at my dad's.
Oh, I need that.
He has a Laserdisc player, and it has. Honestly, he's always like trying to big on like what the new tech is, and he bought a Laserdisc.
So he bought it thinking it was gonna be hot.
And honestly, his entire collection, it's not many Laserdiscs. It's only like maybe 5 or 6. Yeah. But it's really like he honestly knocked it out of the park for every movie he picked, because it was like A New Hope, and that's the untouched, unedited versions. Okay. A New Hope, Alien, Terminator 2, like Indiana Jones.
You got the big blockbusters.
Yeah. It was like all stuff that are still relevant. Like, it wasn't like a movie where it's like, oh, I'm never going to watch that. And, it's probably still at his house, because I know when I moved out, when I lived with him, he let me put it in my room. And then when I moved out, I didn't want to take it. Yeah. Because I didn't really have room for it. So it has to still be there somewhere. But it's like one of those,
bring it to the office, put it back here somewhere.
Halfway through the movie, you have to like take out this. It's a huge record-sized disc and flip it. Yeah. Halfway through the movie,
it was just so impractical.
Yeah. Like, but the thing is, like those movies that I really like, I'll keep on rebuying them in the best format, and it's like, when am I gonna go like, okay, I've had A New Hope on everything. Like, I don't have the VHSs anymore, and I think I threw out the DVDs or gave them away. Yeah. But I got the Blu-Rays. Because kind of when I upgrade a movie, if I owned a movie on DVD and I bought it on Blu-ray, I kind of give away the old one. I think I might have gave them to Phil or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the exact same way. How many, like, I have a DVD, and then I bought a Blu-ray, and then there's, like, 1 or 2 movies that I bought the 4K Ultra HD version of it. It's just, like, you never get that fulfillment. Like, it's always going to continue.
Oh, yeah, I'm never going to hit... And my thing is, if I start a series, if I own a series of something on DVD or Blu-ray, I need to finish it. And like that's the problem. I started buying all the Marvel movies. Yeah. And that was probably the biggest mistake of my life, because
23 movies. Whatever.
Yeah, there's 23, like I think total, and there's 3 more that come out every year, and it's like I'll never hit that. Like,
did you buy the DVDs and then now you're buying the Blu-rays? So then you're like, I really need this in Blu-ray as well. So honestly, now you got like repeats.
I started in Blu-ray.
Okay, then that's good.
I started in Blu-ray, but it was that. Yeah, I just keep on like. Maybe when I get Endgame, I might go like, that's it. I have this series. I have one full story. But like I have Lord of the Rings, the uncut extended editions on. I don't know why I said uncut. Like it's raunchy, but
extended.
The After Dark.
Lord the Golden Book.
Yeah, and I have that. But now I'm like, well, I need The Hobbit, and I'm not even a fan of those movies. But I'm like, I need to have The Hobbit. Yeah. And it's like this. I need that fulfillment of like I have the full
collection. Yeah. Like every piece of the collection.
And it's like, I thought The Hobbit was all right. I haven't seen them since the theaters. And I'm like, I need to buy them now.
And that's why you shouldn't start collecting, because there's never fulfillment. You never get enough.
Started with me knocking, like, I don't understand how people don't buy Blu-rays too late.
Yeah, because I think when we first started hanging out, like, I was kind of collecting a little bit, and I was just kind of, you were thinking about buying Blu-rays and getting into buying Blu-rays.
I only had DVDs.
Yeah. And then I was like, yo, it's a rabbit hole. You're never going to get enough. And then...
Well, I had a decent-sized collection of DVDs.
Yeah.
But then I was moving to Blu-ray because I'm like, I'm a big person of like, I want the best quality. And the fact that I haven't gotten a 4K TV yet, like, really bothers me, because I'm like, I want to see it in the best picture that you can. And that's why I always go to the movie theater, because I'm like, that's... the ultimate version to watch a movie with sound and like it is the best quality.
Well, overall. I wouldn't even say that, because like some of these TVs that you can buy have a much more vibrant, more robust picture.
I guess I'm rating more instead of like
The
specs.
experience.
Yeah,
The
the overall experience. Because it's like, when I'm in a movie theater, I never, even if it's a movie I'm not feeling, pull out my phone.
Yeah.
When I'm at home, I feel like I'll put, like, I kind of, and it's a problem, like, I kind of have to put my phone away sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, when I'm at my home, at my house, it's hard for me to focus, even if it's something I'm into right now.
Yeah.
But in the movie theater, it just
you're going there for that particular reason.
And it just takes my attention. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how bad or if I'm not liking the movie, my attention is there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that.
And you don't want to waste like $12 because that's how much like a typical movie costs now.
Get that A-list.
Oh
See
yeah,
it for free.
$20 a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's $20 a month, 3 movies a week. You get to see for free
Yeah.
in any format. You could go to IMAX, you could go to D-Box, you could go to 3D, all included.
And you don't need to go. No one goes to the movies more than 3 times a week consecutively. Like
I have never. I think maybe one time I ever filled the 3 a week.
yeah,
And that was like a fluke. Like, I don't even... I'm not even sure if I went 3 times a week. I've gone twice a week.
mm-hmm.
But it's weird. Like, I'll go through... Like, I haven't really... I saw Aladdin. But before that,
I
it
still
was
haven't seen
Endgame.
Aladdin. Hopefully, I'll go watch it tomorrow.
I saw Endgame and then Aladdin, which was like maybe a month. Which sounds like, oh, I'm going very often. But for me, I try to see almost everything.
Yeah.
Like, and I haven't had time. Like, there's probably 5 movies I want to see that are in the theater right now. I want to see Detective Pikachu. I still haven't seen.
I've seen it.
I want to see.
It was okay.
I want to see Brightburn.
Yeah, I want to see it for the sake of just seeing it. I'm
Yeah.
not like super like.
I like the concept.
The concept is cool.
Because, and I
and
talked about
we spoke about it
on the podcast.
years before the movie even came out.
Yeah, like I like that idea of like a Superman that is not this. Oh man, we lucked out that this god came to our planet and he is the greatest person that ever lived with a perfect set of morals.
Yeah.
Like I always said, like I like that. Dr. Manhattan is one of my favorite characters probably ever because I like that idea of having an all-powerful person
Yeah.
who is just like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, he's out for his own intentions.
Yeah. Or like a Superman, like the movie idea I kind of talked about on the podcast of like a Superman who is heartbroken and it's like you have this ex-boyfriend that is a god. Like that was in this fake movie I said like the shot of him hovering over a house, x-ray visioning of like a girl with another guy in the house and him just getting pissed.
Yeah.
Like
the concept is a much better concept because us as humans, like, we possess traits of being good and bad. Like, no one's necessarily good all the time. No one's bad all the time. It's kind of, you know, we just try to make a balance. You may do something good today, but you may do something awful tomorrow.
Well, and honestly, that kind of I read something and it put it into perspective because I feel like it was about Game of Thrones, but the thing I was reading, but it really like applies to real life where it was talking about like you could have a genuinely good person who is abusive to someone or who's a dick. And that's, I feel like, a problem that we have in society right now where someone might be accused of doing something bad and we go, but look at him. Like, he's awesome. He's super nice. He gives to charity. And it's like, yeah, you could be a good person, but you could do something horrible to one person.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're good to everybody. And that's just it. Like,
the Game of Thrones was talking about because it was Game of Thrones that made me lead that like train of thought, but it was, I guess I was reading something on Reddit where there's been a lot of disputes and arguments over the character of Catelyn Stark. Because in the book specifically, it's people, there's one scene where Bran, spoiler for Game of Thrones, season 1 and book 1, Bran is in the bed, he's knocked out, he fell from the window, she's by his side, and Jon comes in, and she is an asshole.
Yeah, she's the worst time.
Like, she says, like, it should have been you who fell. It should have been you who died. Yeah. And there's a big divide between fans who say she's abusive, emotionally abusive to this guy. Yeah. And then some people say, oh, she just kind of freaked out in the moment. And the article I was reading was they took all these lines throughout the books from book 1 to 5.
Yeah.
From Jon's point of view, from her point of view. And they went like, Jon is genuinely terrified because like there's like little lines just in passing you wouldn't think about it where he's like, oh, I'm leaving for the wall. I have to go. I was trying to wait for her to leave. Like, him always tiptoeing around her. Him always nervous around her.
Yeah.
Even in book 5 where it's like, a lot of other shit has happened, he goes back and, like, kind of will be like, oh, she would be glad to hear that. Like, and it's like, and that was where the summary was like, look, these people who are on her side can't like that character because they're like, she's a nice person. She's strong. And he went like, you could be a good person overall, but you could be a dick to him.
Yeah,
like, and you could be abusive to him. You're not.
I remember that scene or the few scenes in season 1 where she was like that towards John.
And they toned it down in the show because I think they.
But
knew.
I still think that they still did a good job at showing that, exploiting that a little bit, especially like, I mean, there's reasons why she may have felt emotionally like disinvolved with him or feel the way that she did about him because of where she thought his origin came from.
Yeah.
But
that was.
But yeah, it's still it was she mistreated him.
Yeah, and it was just like, just because you like, it's just, if you abuse someone emotionally, physically, like in a relationship, if in the workplace, as a parent, doesn't mean you're this nasty, horrible, mad at everyone. Because a lot of the times when people get accused of being like, hey, this is an abusive parent. Oh, he was an abusive partner. Yeah. Oh, that's an abusive boss. Everyone's like, well, he's awesome. Like, we all like him. He wouldn't hurt a fly. And it's like, well, just the way you interact with everyone is different. And you might interact with that person in a harmful way. Yeah. But everyone, like, I could be cool with you and then go home and abuse my imaginary wife. And then, you know, if she came to you going like, oh, he hit me, or like he's abusive, he yells and stuff like that, you would be like,
he's nice. I mean, I know him to be nice.
I could never see that. Like, you're crazy. Yeah. He's not like that. And it's like, but like, it's different. Like, and it doesn't, does that action make you a bad person overall? Does it make you, it's hard to tell.
Us as humans, we have elements of both. I hate to go back to the whole like George R. Martin thing, but I remember that being like one of the main focuses of him writing his book, where you know, the Tolkien like good versus evil element of like Lord of the Rings, it was basically black and white. You got Sauron, which is evil, and orcs, which are all evil, and then you got the good guys, where it's like, you know, everyone has both. So he's just like, I'm gonna paint that picture a little bit better. I mean, still love and respect and pay homage to Lord of the Rings, but just bring more realism to it.
Yeah, he has everyone live in gray, and that's what I love about the books and like the show. As much as I love the show, and I don't want to talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But like the show, you're watching it from a third party, right? You are watching these events happen in front of you. Yeah. In the books, you are in that person's head, and the fact that it changes a point of view every chapter, you like even Cersei.
You see someone's point of view first, and then next, someone may feel completely different from what this person's view of the same character was.
And that's the thing. Like, you hate Jaime Lannister as a character. You go, I despise him. And it isn't until probably book 3 when you see his point of view that you go, oh, I understand his actions. Like, yeah, he might have done bad things, but he had good motives. Even Cersei, like in the show, they don't even give her justice. But like, Cersei in the show, she is a villain from beginning to end. And then when you get to her point of view chapters, like I think in book 4, you go,
you kind of see this.
You're like, I don't like her, but I get it. Like, I get why you're doing this. Like, you're crazy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
I mean, she adored or had an idea of who Robert Baratheon was, and let down whenever he just like slept with his whores, and you know, every single night slept with a different woman, and wasn't a great king. But let's digress from the Game of Thrones conversation.
There was something I did want to bring up to you specifically too. I saw this thing on Facebook. It was an ad, and I almost bought it. I probably will buy it, but I wanted to see if you would use it, because you were the person. I mean, I feel like I could use it too, but I think you could use it a lot more as well.
What is it?
It's called the Pavlok. And it's this bracelet you wear. I'm sure you can probably set it to like do it whenever, but it's made for when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you wear this bracelet, you hook it up to your app on your phone, and you set alarms, right?
Okay.
And essentially, there's a few different settings to kind of like there's a few different settings to get it going, but essentially all the settings do the same thing, and it's essentially you set an alarm to wake up, and then if you don't wake up, you get a little zap. And it's a Pavlovian. Every time you hear your alarm, your mind goes, I need to wake up or something bad's going to happen. And it's like after a couple months, the moment your alarm goes off, you're up and you're like, I'm ready to go. Like,
yeah.
And you can set it to like, basically like a 10-minute window. Like, you wake up. If you're not up within 10 minutes, you get a zap. You could do it with a zap when the alarm goes off. And it's not it's harmless. Like,
okay. I'm not going to lie. That sounds really constructive for me. I can probably like use it, and I probably need it in my life. However, I don't like the feeling of being enslaved by not necessarily enslaved. I understand that, but now I feel like indebted to wake up because this thing tells me, and I know it's all for good reasoning because I'm trying to be more productive. However, no, it's not for me. I'm sorry.
I know you can test it out. Like when I was looking it up, there's like an option in the app that you can put it on and go like, because you can make it how extreme you want, and you can hit test. So you're not like getting electrocuted. Like you could do a little zap, but like where it's a pinch. Yeah,
watch it like start like really really electrifying me, and like.
I think you can set it to where like it gets worse like the more you sleep in.
Yeah.
So, but it's essentially just this like, the alarm clock goes off, your body goes, I need to be up. Like and apparently like. From what I was reading, like after a week, you kind of get it where you don't need it anymore. So the moment you hear that alarm clock, it's like I'm up. And I kind of wanted to try it out.
I can probably like, it would probably be beneficial for me, but I feel like the artificial intelligence in that is just going to start like, no, you're going to wake up, and then it's going to start really electrifying me.
But that's kind of why.
Electrocuting.
That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to. It's
forcing you to wake up.
You're like a dog with the bell. Ding. Like, time to eat.
Not me.
I don't know. It wasn't expensive. It was like maybe $30 or $25. I thought it would be a lot more. I was kind of tempted to buy it just to try it out. Like, and I mean, I wake up genuinely early already, and I wake up. I'm weird. I set an alarm even on my days off because I feel like I'm at the point of my life that if I sleep in, I feel like I wasted my day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's just with me. I have like no, what is it, circadian rhythm that like I go to sleep like different times every single day. Like, so it's just like I just wake up when I feel rested enough. And I mean, there's things that I have to get done, but you know, I'm old.
That's why you get
I need my sleep.
That's why you get the watch.
I need my beauty sleep, you know?
But yeah, I hit this point like maybe it was last year. Even last year, I was honestly sleeping in until probably noon every day. And it was just like, then I'm staying up until 1-ish, maybe even later. And it was just like, I was just felt miserable. I was sluggish all the time. And then like, I hit the point where I'm like, okay, my hours changed. But like, I'm like, no matter what, latest I'm going to wake up, absolute latest is like 10.
The only thing that you need to rectify that situation is just have some intense exercise somewhere through the course of the day. I mean, and then your body will feel tired enough. And I think that's why it's important to exercise. Mm-hmm. I haven't really been doing that lately.
I think eating healthy too.
Eating healthy, yes, for sure. And exercising, because then your body's going to feel like it needs its rest and you can sleep better. So,
that's like, I've been like,
I'll take exercise over a Pavlov any day.
Well, I don't think the Pavlov's about like going to sleep. It's about waking up.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
True.
And honestly, you were in a period, not now, but like probably a couple months ago, where you were sleeping until like 3, 4. Like I would get a text like, I just woke up. Yeah. Like then that's where you would have Pavloved it, and it would have been. And I honestly feel
I was honestly, because of my other job, going to sleep.
But yeah,
I at least at that point had gotten to some kind of sleep schedule where I was waking up late, but I was also going to sleep really late, and I know I needed my sleep, so my body just naturally slept 7-8 hours, and then I woke up right before my priorities, which was to make it to work again.
But I think you just have to like I don't know. You have to do something in that situation, like unless you're happy with it. Like if you were happy, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like if you were like, man, I don't want to sleep like that. You just have to do something where you're like, I
Force it upon you.
Yeah, like I have to force myself to wake up, and then by proxy, I'll force myself to go to because now I'm exhausted all day. I can go to sleep early, like, and it's like it wouldn't be like one day. You'd have to do it like, you kind of have to train yourself. Like that's what I did. Like I was waking up at like I was saying noon, and then I was like, I feel like I'm not being productive, and I was setting alarms every day, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.
Yeah.
And I try to wake up at 9, at the, like 10 at the latest if I really stayed up late, but on average 9 o'clock, and it's like, even still, I'll like set the alarm, but I'll wake up before. And the other key was like keeping windows open. Like I used to like black out curtains and sleep in the pitch black. And then my body's just like, okay, just keep on going. But, like, the sun helps you wake up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I could probably use a little bit more routine in my life. That's the problem. There's no routine in my life. So, like I said, I go to sleep. Sometimes I go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. Other times I go to sleep at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't sleep at all. You know. But I just, like I said, once I was exercising, like, regularly, my body would shut down. My body would shut down, and it'll need is adequate rest to wake up, and I'd wake up with efficient timing. Like,
but I feel like with the Pavlok, you could use it for other things. I don't know exactly what you would use it for, but essentially you're wearing a shock bracelet. Like if you were like at 4 o'clock every day, I need to do this. You could like force a routine on yourself where it's like because all it is an alarm.
Yeah.
And then if you don't turn off the alarm by a certain time, you get shocked. So it's like you could probably force yourself like, let me set an alarm for 3. At 3, I need to do this. I need to set and just kind of by instinct go like, oh crap, it's 3. I didn't do it. And
it's not for me. I'm not gonna put myself in some kind of slavery.
But it's self-inflicted.
It's productive. It is self-inflicted.
Like you're the one.
However, I know that there's other things that I can do to solve that instead of having to buy a bracelet to remind me to wake up at a certain time.
I don't know. I might buy it.
I'm not even gonna lie. I could probably benefit from it, but no, not for me. I appreciate the advertisement.
I was talking to this old lady the other day, and as a segue, I was talking to this old lady the other day, and she really opened up my eyes. She gave me some advice that I was like, damn.
Some elderly old woman advice?
Yeah,
There's no better advice in the world.
She dropped some knowledge that I'm like, why hasn't anyone thought about this? To save the planet, save the environment. And I was like, she took a problem that we have in society of plastic being dumped in the oceans, right? She was very frustrated that the place we were at didn't have plastic straws. They had paper. And she went like, she kind of like had this solution of dumping stuff in the ocean. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. And
was her solution to dump stuff in the ocean?
Like to get rid of plastic out of the ocean, out of the ocean.
Okay.
Like kind of cut down on water pollution. And she was like, I don't get why everyone has to switch from plastic straws to paper. She just went, why don't people just throw their plastic straws away? And I went, you solved it. You solved the solution, man.
Yeah, no one's ever thought about that.
Everyone's just taking all their straws and just
chucking them in the ocean.
And she was very adamant. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are they just throwing them in the ocean and now I have to have paper straws? And I was like, you're right. You're right.
Wow.
She saved the world.
Yeah, just throw it away, huh?
Give her Nobel Prize right now.
I mean, there's like much better sanitation throwing like standards nowadays. Like I think, some of the stuff that we're supposed to recycle and we throw in the trash, like the dump still collects it, some of it, and finds a way to get it.
The issue is
the
issue is not the going to the dump. The issue is what the dump does. Like that's the issue. Like
yeah. But I mean, I think some of that stuff is more stuff that was relevant 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I'll just say,
But I think more so the creation of the straws is the problem. Like when we can simply just drink from the cup,
yeah,
like we're using up resources, and then those resources have they kind of get somewhere down the line, not so much anymore, but they get tossed in places where it's unsafe for other creatures.
I'm going to say something unpopular right now. Some people are going to get pissed. But in my 26, almost 27 years of life, I have never seen people become such babies the moment they have a paper straw or no straw. I have never seen it in my life. People throw fits.
Yeah.
If it's a paper straw, they freak out. If it's a biodegradable, like almost plastic straw, they freak out. They freak out. And it's like, if this is such a big deal in your life, you got it pretty easy. If that's the I'm pissed that my straw got a little soggy in this soda I'm drinking.
I agree. Although paper straws do suck. I mean, they're not as good, but if it means a safer environment, 100%. But yeah, no, you're right. People get really the smallest little change that like becomes inconvenient for them.
Coming into their home and going like, you're not allowed to use chairs anymore or couches. You have to sit on the floor. Welcome to the new world, and walking out. And it's like, well, if it's that big of a problem, and I've said this for a while, just get one of those reusable plastic
bring
straws.
It yourself.
Keep it with you.
Yep.
If it's that big of an issue, then they go, well, I don't want to carry this around. It's like,
as they have a purse, and they'll have a purse on them, or they'll have some kind of way to transport it.
Or pockets in their trousers.
Yeah.
But like,
who uses the word trousers?
They act like there's it's just so many hurdles to like appease these people. It's like, okay, well, here, use a reusable straw. Well, I don't want to carry it around. It's like, well, you're not willing to work. You are staying on this side of the argument, and you are not willing to budge. And it's like,
there's just some miserable people out there that just look for something to complain about. Some kind of whatever becomes the smallest inconvenience to them, they make it the biggest deal.
Because I'll say, like, there are sometimes I personally don't try to use plastic straws that often, right? Yeah. But there are some situations where you have to use a straw. Like if I'm driving, and I have like not a bottle or like, but just like a
because it'll spill
cup from like a restaurant.
Spill everywhere in your car.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like or something like if I'm drinking a milkshake or something thick, like I'm not gonna like it's just not possible.
Yeah.
But like that, but for the most part, I try not to like, and it's just like such a. In my mind, I don't even think about it. Like, it doesn't bother me. You hand me a straw, I'm just going to use what I have. Like, it's not like this. In the grand scheme of things, it's such a minor thing in my life that if I'm going to get upset about this straw, like, I'm just miserable.
Things taste better through a straw.
And that's what they say. They say the taste. Like, because there's the biodegradable straws that are made out of corn, right? And it's like, if you feel it, you wouldn't know. You could, like, if you gave me a taste if you just had two straws here, one plastic, one of the biodegradable, I could not probably tell the difference. Maybe.
When you start chewing on it, you can see that it starts breaking down.
Yes, but who's...
Or the heat from, if you have a hot beverage.
That's different. That's different. But it's like, who's... That's corn.
I hate corn on my straws.
Like, yeah.
These are real corny straws.
But it's like... Even that, they're like, it tastes different. I don't like it. It's like, these people do not like change. Yeah. And it's like, I don't understand. And it's just like, it kind of brings me to something else I want to bring up. It's like, in my mind, I feel like...
for the most part, it's old, miserable people.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say. The straw is not the issue, right? The straw is... 15 years of being miserable and life beating you down, that it boiled to the point that I'm pissed about this straw. The straw is the straw that, literally the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
It is, I am so pissed. I've been divorced 4 times. My kids hate me. My job sucks. I didn't follow my dreams. Yeah. And now I'm coming to this McDonald's and I go...
I have to take it out on somebody else. This pent-up frustration.
Because that's the thing, like, I was telling you yesterday, I've been watching a lot of fight videos.
Yeah, that's... Yeah,
right?
I did say that.
And I was saying I have this very specific thing I like to watch, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the podcast before. But it's like people just flipping out in an ordinary setting. Just like, you looked at me wrong. And that's the thing. I always try to get in their head. Like, if they're flipping out, like, they're yelling at a McDonald's worker, and then they, like, jump behind the counter and just start flipping registers. It's like, I wanted McNuggets! You're out of McNuggets! Which is a real video of a guy just screaming, like, I want my McNuggets, and I want them now. And it's like, the McNuggets are not the problem.
Yeah.
It is, and I always try to get in their head where it's like, they snapped. It's not, I wouldn't even say like, oh, they're mentally crazy or anything like that. It's just literally stress build up and they hit that breaking point.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah. Not 90% of the time, it's things wrong with the person themselves, because a lot of the situations are situations where, you can get out of it. Like, you can get out of it and you don't have to deal with, like, if you're dealing with someone who, like, is making you mad, like, a lot of situations, you don't have to deal with them very long, so you can just get out of it. If it's something that you can get out of, like, don't make it a big deal, because, you know, you won't have to deal with this person. Now, if it's, like, a prolonged thing and you're dealing with, like, a spouse or someone that you have to deal with, like, you're going to have to either make changes or get out of that situation. But if it's something that is, like, so minute in the grand scheme of your life, don't make it, like, you shouldn't make it a big deal.
No, and I agree, right? But I feel like it's more complicated than that, where it's like I said, it's not the minute thing that's the problem. It's just, I found that thing to take it out on. And I've seen myself get to that point, not to the extreme of what I'm talking about, but it's where it's like, I'm just stressed in life. Maybe I'm pissed about something. There's something going on in the background. I'm angry.
And sometimes there's a, you know, and the same thing for other people, but like things on top of each other.
Yeah. And it's like, I'll see myself kind of snap at something that I shouldn't have been snapping at, or a person I shouldn't have been snapping at. And I'm like, I catch on later and I kind of will apologize, but it's like, oh, it kind of built up to a point that it shouldn't have built up to. Not even with that like, let's just say a random person I'm like with, and then like boom, 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 problems stacking on top of each other, and it's like I'm in the car like with a GPS, like I said go left, and it's like, oh, I'm taking it out. Like, I don't care that you missed the turn. I'm more pissed about other things, and it's like I can see those people now take the problems, like venting on that person, now keep on stacking on top. Now I'm snapping at a McDonald's worker because they just happened to not have my McNuggets, and I really wanted McNuggets, and that was the one thing in my life I wanted were my McNuggets, and this person's telling me I can't have them, so I'm going to jump behind the counter, flip a register, and like punch a hole through the McFlurry machine because I didn't have, like, and it's, I've been watching a lot of those videos, and it's just like, it's just, and I always, like, because I'm like, the person relatively looks well put together, right? It's not like this crazy person that's like, oh yeah, obviously.
He's absolutely mentally unstable.
And there's videos like that where it's like, okay, well, that's just a crazy person. Or that person's on like PCP right now. Yeah. But it's like, there's sometimes where it's just like a person snapping. And it's like, okay. And I always like to think like this, we're seeing the worst, like the final day of this person's problems. Like, and it's like, what led to it? Because like,
and you know what? They've living their lives through their perspective, because you're living your life through your perspective. So your struggles are your struggles and nobody else's, and you don't know that other person's struggles. They may have solid reasonings to feel the way that they do. A lot of times they do.
Because I'll watch.
However, you can't just snap at somebody.
Oh, I'm not saying it's justified. I'm just saying it's not like they're mad at that. Yeah. And it's like, and they're not taking it when they're flipping, and now they're going to get arrested because they just trashed the McDonald's and like created probably $10,000 worth of damage. That's not the healthy way to vent through it. But I always like will watch the videos, and I don't know what it is, but like I try to just, maybe it's because like I like to write things. So I like to kind of just see
some inspiration.
Not even that, but like to try to, like I even in real life, I kind of like will see someone random, like a stranger on the street, and go like,
what triggers?
What is their story? Like, where did they, like this, like person working in Best Buy, like I'll just see them and I'm like, it's that weird feeling of every single person you encounter in the world is a human being. And it's like we don't necessarily see that. You're in traffic, every single person is a human being with their own story, with their own experiences, with their own problems, with their own...
I think artificial intelligence is getting to a point where you may not even recognize that's not a human being.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. But it's just like I'll watch a video and I go like, okay, like what could this a person like? I'm watching their freak out and people are just going, oh, what an idiot, and I'm like, I'm just imagining this guy just got fired from a job he had for 10 years. His wife left him and now he's getting kicked out of his house. He has no money to his name and he's going to get McNuggets and it just piled up. Like reality hit him of like, I can't keep my happy face on anymore. And it's like that, like I'm not like watching it going like, haha, what an idiot. It's like,
what events
I'm watching someone on their worst day.
Yeah.
And it's that like, I don't know what, that sounds really crazy now that I'm saying it out loud, but it's like, I like that moment of like, I am watching this person's worst moment. And it's like, what led to it? And the fact is, it could happen to anyone. Like, it is like, if the right set of circumstances probably happen, you could be trashing a Burger King right now.
In the same light or in your own way.
And that's why I'm watching it, because it's like, it is just, the shit piles up high enough, and it happens so frequently. This could be anyone. And like, the million other people that are watching this video are laughing at this person, but I'm watching it going like, this is this is not a crazy, this is a person who is going through something. And we are watching the mental breakdown, and it's like, what led to it? Because it could happen to anyone on the street right now. And it's like, these road rage incidents, it's like, they don't care that they got cut off. Usually, sometimes you're pissed about that, but it's like...
No, yeah,
But when they're like, running the people off the road now and getting out of their car, like punching out their windshield, like, because you cut them off, we are watching the worst day of their life, or the worst period of time in their life, because they went through something. And like, some of these videos, you get those glimpses where like, they'll be like, my father died, and like, screaming at someone when they're like, calm down, like, my father, and it's like, they are going through the worst period of their life right now, and they had no healthy way to get it out, and now they're trashing a Wendy's bathroom. And it's just,
you gotta find some kind of constructive way to let out your aggression.
Because I don't know what it is. It's like, I'll literally be like randomly like eating at a restaurant, and I'll see a server, and I'm like, what's this person's story? Like, because literally, like I said, everyone is a person, and I feel like we don't always recognize that. And it's like, and it all ties in, like, my train of thought is all usually ties in, like, how I was talking about, like, what circumstances did you go through in life that were in this moment? I'm eating at this restaurant, you're my server, like, we both went through these different branches and possibilities, and we both ended up in this situation. It's kind of like, well, I wonder what this person's life was like. Or, like, what, where they ended up, how they ended up here, like, because it's that weird moment, like, you're driving on the road, and you're like, every single person here is going somewhere, they're coming from somewhere, and it's like, they all have their own thing
personal
going
story.
on.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think, like, I'm driving on the road, and I just need to get where I'm going, but it's like, we're all, like, I don't know, it's like this whole...
Yeah, everyone has, we're all working in tangent. I mean, we have different paths, but, everyone's here at the moment at the same time. Yeah. So.
And it's like, we all are going through something. We all are this person in the car that is just a random person that's driving by, it's like, they might be having the best day of their life. Yeah. This person that drove by might be having the worst day of their life. This person might be going on to, like, this whole new date that's going to lead to his marriage, and it's like, we're all going through, like, we're all having our own stories. And once again, another thing I brought up, it's like how I said, like, you could probably take any single person in the world and you could make a compelling movie about that person, because every single person has a story. Every single person
goes through something.
Is a person. And which is sounding weird, and I'm sounding like a crazy person. I'm not sure if this is coming out like how I'm imagining it, but it's like that. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are very selfish. They kind of think about themselves, maybe the few people around them, but it's like, everyone is going through, like, everyone's, like, you need to treat everyone that compassion, because it's like...
And I guess that's kind of what I was saying earlier, like, like, you're going through your personal turmoil and stuff like that, but you have to understand, like, you may not know the next person's situation, and if you can easily get out of that situation, then you shouldn't make a big deal about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's a consistent thing that you have to deal with.
Yeah, it's
If it's one of those situations.
Because I feel like I have this thing where, or there's like a saying that you only recognize like 50 people as a person, right? It's this weird, I don't know the exact number, but it's essentially like there's 50 people in your life, maybe 100. It's something like that, but it's a small number.
I know I've heard of 100, like 100 people that you can like be fully invested in, and like
it's
anything more than that, like it's just too overwhelming.
You
too many
think
people.
of them as people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna walk up and just treat you like a piece of shit.
Yeah, you know their struggle, you know their family,
Yeah.
you know where they come from, you know.
But outside of those 100, you just think of people as extras in a movie. They are just there to fill up space. They are there to
extras in your own personal movie.
Yes.
Like,
and that's a good point. It's like in my movie, the AJ Constantino movie, I have my 100 people that are characters in my movie, and besides that, everyone else is just an extra that someone hired to kind of just fill up space, so it's not just 100 people in the world. I walk into the McDonald's, I don't care about that person. I just want my McDonald's and I want to walk out. And I think the fact that it's like I have these moments where I think I don't know, I visualize that it's like I walk in and I'm like, no, everyone is like, I don't just see that person as, oh, this is the cashier at Walmart. I see them as the I don't know. I have these like moments where I go like,
and we're like also desensitized to like people's emotions and their personal struggles.
Like I think I don't know. I really get impacted. I've never really even talked about this publicly, but I'll walk in, right? And I'll see, and this is going to sound
unless it's a bad B, then you're like, all right. Hey.
But like I'll walk into
I want to understand her story. I want her to be more than an extra.
It'll be I'm trying to think. Like I'll walk in, like let's say I'm at a store or something, and like some old person's helping me, an elderly person, and then I'll look like if it's like a guy or a girl, and it's like, oh, they don't have a wedding ring, and then like I get upset because I'm thinking about that person now at home, like, it's really a problem. Like I'll have these I have these problems where like I visualize this person's life.
Yeah,
and
I guess that's the writer in you.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, like did he ever get married? Did she pass away? Did he get divorced? Like, does he have someone in his life? Is he alone? Yeah. And it's like, I wish I had the 100 people and everyone else's background, because I'll walk up and I'm like, this guy probably.
That's like.
It's like I don't know, or like
that scene in Date Night, which I kind of try to play the game a little bit, but. When they're like at the restaurant and they're playing a game of trying to identify everyone's story.
Yeah,
like,
I like that game.
What's their story? You know, like
I do, and it's like I do that, and it's like, but the thing is, like, I don't just go like, oh, that's probably their story. I'll get emotional. Like if it's like a situation where I'm like, I feel the sadness in this person, where I'm like, I'll just be talking, and they're smiling, they're being nice, and I'm like, I feel like this person is upset outside of here, like. They're probably going home. And I don't know what it is. Like it's this, like I said, I don't think I've ever publicly talked about it, but it's this like, I get very upset when
off of just an idea of what you created in your mind.
Yeah, but I'll kind of pick up clues. Like I'll Sherlock Holmes it in a way. It's usually just the wedding ring, but or like sometimes
in your mind you write their story.
Yeah, and it's like on the I don't know, and then like I get really attached where I'm like, oh, I'll be really nice. I'll like do something to maybe make their day, like. Yeah. But I feel like.
Well, I mean that's a nice way to do it. Unless you're creating and in your mind you have a very villainous mind state of what that person is, and then now you're treating them like crap. Then
I don't think I've ever done that. Yeah. Like, but like I feel like a normal person.
I think everyone does that.
A regular person
to some degree
will like take that water bottle and just like I'll throw it on the ground. Like you're not thinking about like, oh well, that person that has to pick it up now is an actual person who is going through something, who is working their job, who is like, and it's like I don't know. I'm very conscious that other people are people, and it's weird.
Well, you should be. I think most people should, and I think that's where the problem in a lot of our society, where we're like desensitized and we don't care for their personal struggles. Because we can't focus on everybody at once, like.
And I think that's why I feel like overall, I kind of feel a little more tolerant in a way because it's like when I say like, oh, I don't care what you do as long as you're not hurting anyone and it makes you happy. But it's like I see other people, they go like, they'll see something weird and they go like, I don't like that because that's not what I like.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't be happy that they're happy. I'm unhappy because I have to see, like, I'm going to throw out an example of a gay couple kissed. It's like, they'll see it as like, I'm not gay, so I don't want to see gay people. And it's like, well, they're a couple happy. It's no different if you kiss your significant other. It's like, and it's like people can't let their own personal experiences let them go. Like,
that's the selfishness in people.
Yeah, and it's like that weird thing. But speaking of people with stories, to wrap up this episode, I just wanted to bring up something I saw.
Sure, go ahead.
And it was like, I wanted to know this person's story because it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen, and I never knew I wanted something. But it was, I saw a man walking down the street, and he had a gold chain on, right?
Okay.
Big gold chain. And I looked close because I'm like, that looks familiar. And etched in the gold chain, not just like, it was 3D. There was depth to this image.
Okay. They spent some money on that gold chain.
It was Da Vinci's Last Supper.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
And I never thought I wanted something, never knew I wanted something as much as that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know, like, I was like, I want to know that man's story.
Yeah.
That man.
Oh, I'll tell you what happened. He went to the flea market right there on Hillsborough, and or the one on Nebraska, and he went and bought it. Because that's where they sell them at.
I was like, that was an amazing piece of jewelry. Because I was like, that's just intricate. And I was walking by and I went, that was Da Vinci's Last Supper. And I just went, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But
I've seen it. There's also a lot of and why it's always like religious like jewelry pieces. A lot of it is always like religious.
Yeah. Like I've seen like full images of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like in detail, like
I'm pretty sure at one point in time I had like the Jesus earrings, like Jesus on some earrings at one point in time.
Like a portrait picture of Jesus or Jesus on the cross?
No, like his face.
Okay, I could see.
I probably wouldn't wear that anymore. But
you get like two Jesuses on the cross hanging down.
No, man.
Big.
That's a sad sight.
Going down to your shoulders. Two Jesus on the crosses.
I think
probably 7 inches.
I think the correct pronunciation for that is Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that was our episode of the Squad Goals Podcast.
Yeah.
Episode 54.
54.
Shut that door.
Shut that door. Continue watching. We have a lot more in store.
Oh. I'm AJ. This was D'Angelo.
I'm D'Angelo. But
this was D'Angelo.
Thank you. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
We're out.
Peace.
Hey, welcome to the Squad Goals Podcast episode 54. 54, hold the door, Devon's a whore. I'm AJ. To my left, we have...
That's your boy D-Lo.
And to my right, we have...
A no-show.
Because he's in Las Vegas. And that's the second time we did that because we started recording this podcast and the power went out and we had to restart.
You don't have to say all that, but we're an honest production here, so we tell the truth and we tell it like it is.
If it seemed like that was a little too scripted, it's because that was.
I'm not collecting for the sake of collecting. I'm collecting pieces and movies that mean a lot to me. So,
I don't know. It's like I'm weird. Like I go through phases.
Yeah. Bruh!
Why does GarageBand close out? Why does
Bruh! I can't.
Hang on. We might be good. No. We are not.
Bro!